TIL domestic dogs are one of only a few species that can understand that the human gesture of pointing means, look in the direction my finger is pointing. Other animals, including wolves and other primates, don't understand how it works and will only be interested in your outstretched finger. Not my old dumb dog. I'd throw him a treat then point at it and he'd just lick my finger. My dog definitely demonstrates this awareness. He is the best cleaner up of pointed at dropped food. Don't look at the finger, look where it's pointing is very zen. I remember road tripping with my ex and my dog when I pointed to something we were passing. The dog looked out the window. The ex looked at my finger. I have a border collie that totally understands this perfectly. I have another border collie that will not break eye contact with the hand unless a toy is thrown from it. I've read once that an octopus can do this, blew my mind. Source: https://books. Google. ch/books, id equals bcumdogba and pg equals pa83 and lpg equals pa83 and dq equals octopus plus following plus pointing plus finger and ots equals xc7cne72gi and sig equals acfu3u2k830 ebdwz5lveypydnmehn \_ cnw and hl equals n hashtag v equals 1 page and q equals octopus %20 following %20 pointing %20 finger and f equals false. https://books. Google. ch/books, id equals bcumdogba and pg equals pa83 and lpg equals pa83 and dq equals octopus plus following plus pointing plus finger and ots equals xc7cne72gi and sig equals acfu3u2k830 ebdwz5lveypydnmehn _ cnw and hl equals n hashtag v equals 1 page and q equals octopus %20 following %20 pointing %20 finger and f equals false. One of the billion things that makes elephants cool. https://www.theguardian.com/science/2013/ox/11/elephants understand pointing scientists show. Mine doesn't get it. I think he thinks there are treats hidden in my other fingers. My old Cavalier Molly. https://www.youtube.com/watch, v equals mxqp9 by pcs, was very good at this. In an effort to bamboozle her, I would barely point my finger in a direction and she would go straight to the piece of dry dog food. In even more efforts to confound her, I would look at her and then look at the food and she would go straight to where I was looking. She was very food smart. How about cats? Or is that another? Oh, they know, but they don't care. Except my dog. He refuses to even look. My other dogs have, just not him. He is the most stubborn dog I've ever had though. He only looks if there is actual food in my hand, but if I'm just pointing he sees no point in even looking. It's fun to watch a puppy learn this. They get so happy when they finally figure it out. We currently have a couple of almost 4-month-olds that recently learned to look at me pointing to where I want them to go. And some dogs point themselves, which is why we call them pointers. And here's a further interesting thing. Some autistic people can't understand pointing either. I learned this when my son was small and used to look at the end of my pointing finger. Some autistic people also can't understand the direction of gaze. Here's an article about the pointing thing. https://PubMed. Spy. NLM. NIH. gov/126488889/ https://PubMed. Spy. NLM. NIH. gov/126488889/. With my cat I look at her, and then look at what I want her to look at. I learned that trick because she used to do it to me. Asterisk looks at her food, looks at me, looks at her food. Asterisk when she gets frustrated she'll even kind of gesticulate by really throwing her little snout into it. She's an asshole. My parrots understand me when I point with my head. Or at least I like to think that. Yo, I was out on a trail in the woods with my dog running and I heard some weird ass bird call or something rustling. I can't remember what it was, but I stopped and raised my fist over my shoulder to let my dog know to stop and be quiet without even thinking about her being a dog, and she wasn't even breathing. She was abrupt quiet as I was trying to listen. Might have just been my abrupt stop, but it was really cool. I didn't teach her that shit. I've had a couple cats that I was able to train into looking where I pointed instead of just sniffing/licking/staring confusedly at my finger, but it takes time and patience and some of them just never learn. You can also train fish to do this. It's not instinctual, people and animals learn what pointing means. Domestic dogs also have well-developed eyebrow muscles, unlike their wild cousins. Cool, but a cat looking at you via a mirror is cooler. What other animals can? My cat could do this. It's one of several hand signals I taught him as he was going deaf. Man, I loved that cat. Dogs are capable of limited abstract thinking. I can't prove it to you, but I am a behavioral neurobiologist and I see it all the time in the dogs in my world. Hey Steve, I'm gonna need you to go point at a wolf and see what its reaction is. Moment of silence for the fingerless people who domesticated wolves. We've had a lab for almost 5 years and I'm still not sure if she gets it when I'm pointing. I've noticed also with toddlers it takes a while until they look at where you're pointing. They take surprisingly long just looking at the finger first. In Siberia there's an ongoing experiment where they bred silver foxes for generations to be tame, and the scientists found that the tamed foxes were able to pick up finger pointing rather quickly. In most cases, the tamed foxes were better at it than dogs. The whole experiment is covered in the book How to Tame a Fox and Build a Dog. I didn't teach my dog this, but he learned it himself, I'm assuming by picking up on what I was doing. He is my first dog and I'm blown away by how intelligent he is. He looks to me and figures things out on his own. He knows a lot of words that I never taught him. My mom had some very smart dogs. They were spaniels, so maybe it was their hunting genes that helped. When we talked, they understood us and used their imaginations regularly. We should check on the chickens. Dogs, get up. I'll go, but I need my shoes first. Dogs, get shoes. Back up so I can open the door. Dogs, back up. Then they beat us to the chicken coop. Go get that ball and bring it inside so we can play. Points at ball 20 feet away. Dogs, get ball and bring it inside. They also had this fixation with light and reflections, so they'd lick light on the wall for an hour unless we stopped them, so they had their dumb doggy moments too. Haha, Louis C.K. was wrong. Two particularly interesting things about this. Dogs in a shelter do not have this ability. A dog that has lived in a home and has shown the ability to follow a finger point who then gets moved to a shelter will lose the ability to follow a finger point. Wolves that have been raised by humans are more consistently able to follow a human pointing gesture than a domestic dog. Res dogs know where to look when you point with your lips. Same probably goes for whispering "what's that" really fast. I've always wondered about this. Also, I have never once had a dog understand what I was trying to convey when pointing. They have always looked at my hand. And even then it's only a fraction of domestic dogs. Most I've met have no idea what it means. Cats can recognize this behavior too, but cats just don't give a shit what you say. This explains so many infuriating moments trying to show my cat that the food scrap she was begging for was already on the floor in front of her. One of my cats understands pointing. I throw her treats, and if she can't find one, she looks at me, I point, and she finds it. They are also one of the only animals besides some primates that look at a human's left side of their face to understand emotions. Holy shit, I knew my dog could do this. When I drop food and he can't find it and I point to it, he always looks where I'm pointing. Really cool tbh. Foxes and wolves can now. PBS talk about selective breeding. Very interesting stuff. As a cat owner, it's because it's easily misinterpreted as "check out my finger." In the case of one of my cats, I get kitty kisses and the other takes the opportunity to rub her face on my finger, then I just pet her. Yeah, nah, my dog has no concept of this. Don't know from personal experience, but I've heard dolphins will also look at where you're pointing. Zero evidence here, but I feel like octopuses can do this too. I would be surprised if they couldn't. This reminds me of a skit from the cartoon Cat Scratch where one the cats pointed at something and said look. The other cat replied, gasp a finger. My deaf foster cat knows what pointing means. When he is getting into something to get attention, I motion at him and then point to my lap or whatever I want him to go and he does it.